Hello, Internet, and welcome to Weekly Shonen Jump Review. This is Fonzie,
And this is Hero.
and we're doing our podcast on Weekly Shonen Jump's April 1st issue. But there is no April 1st issue. And also, we're canceling Weekly Shonen Jump.
April Fools!
Oh, that was a bad.
And I'm actually a girl. April Fools.
Actually, that wasn't an April Fool's.
But yeah, now for this issue,
With another caption of One Piece, since it's the most popular manga.
Shut up. But we also have a special one shot called Sakuran, which we think is meh.
Yes, but we will still review it.
But first we're going to Naruto, which the 2-page spread title is kind of weird, as they're being attacked by polka dot hammerheads. And
you just said Naruto.
Did I say Naruto?
Yes, you said Naruto.
I thought I said One Piece.
Well, it is One Piece, and yes, like you said, it's a tentative of Jaws with polka dots.
Yeah,
I like it. It's his
hammerheads, great whites, and everyone's freaking out. And Nami is like almost showing her boobs.
And Brooks a clothes rack. I'm not kidding. He's a clothes rack.
Yeah.
But like we left off before, Luffy had just found out that the prize in the Colosseum is the Mero fruit, which his brother used beforehand while he was alive. Well, it seems that we finally get an explanation of how that actually works. When somebody dies, it seems that the fruit actually regrows itself. Fairies. I don't know. Mm-hmm. The only explanation is that when they die, the fruit magically grows back in a different area.
Ain't that just convenient?
And of course, Luffy actually wants to possess the fruit, but he doesn't want to actually eat the fruit himself. He wants somebody else to choose it, but he wants to choose that person himself. He believes that fruit is obviously needed for somebody much more suited. And of course, Frankie agrees with him, even though they have a mission that they have to accomplish.
Which, it does beg the question, okay, what if Luffy did eat the flame fruit? Would he gain fire powers as well?
Yes, this was explained before at the conclusion of the Marineford arc, where Blackbeard had somehow obtained the power of the Tremor fruit from Whitebeard's dead body, and now possesses not only the Yami fruit, which is a gravity power, but also the Tremor fruit.
And what power is that?
The ability to create vibrations. So in short, he can make earthquakes and even shatter things like the air. Shatter the air. Yeah, that's just
talk
badass.
About being hungry for power.
Oh, God. Actually, that was clever. But back onto the story, where we find that Solo, Sanji, and I guess they lost Kaimon in the little scramble while they were looking for Zoro's sword. And of course, Sanji gets distracted and the audience knows this one,
by a beautiful Gurman. Ooh la la.
Gurman? Yeah, that's a thing now, a Gurman. And of course, it's a flamingo dancer, seeing as how this is a very, I guess, Hispanic.
Embrace me!
Yep, that's the first time Sanji actually has been told to embrace a woman. And as such, he goes completely nosebleed san on us.
Oh, you Japanese and your nosebleeds.
And she seems to actually...
I must leave, my love.
Well, she's actually leaving for a reason, since she's actually on run with the law because she had actually stabbed her former lover. However, Sanji, like the perverted nobleman he is, decides to help her out. However, it seems that
isn't that cute? Sanji is helping a beautiful criminal.
Well, if it's beautiful, he'll help it. And of course, she actually asks him to kill someone. We actually leave off on that one and head straight to the Colosseum, where Frankie and Luffy are ready to start. However, a one-legged puppet decides to roll by and jump into the Colosseum, where he's evading police, and where the Colosseum is, the jurisdiction of the police ends.
And his hat says "Sol," which I think it means sun in Spanish.
Let's go with that. Our Spanish interpreter, ladies and gentlemen.
Gracias.
And of course he seems to talk about this guy is just strange. He just starts babbling on about stuff being funny and stuff not being funny. He's just a weird character right now.
It really is the Island of Misfit Toys. Ah!
Anyways, with that done, literally he just leaves with barely much dialogue. Luffy decides to enter into the Coliseum, but almost stupidly uses his own name. So instead he goes with the name Lucy.
Ha ha! Lucy!
And where we
Fairy tale! Ha!
And of course, we then find him in one of the waiting rooms where it's full of bloodthirsty gladiators just ready to get some blood on.
And I would like to interrupt you. Okay, don't you find it weird that in Fairy Tale they use Natsu gets confused with Lucy's name with Luffy, and in One Piece Luffy becomes Lucy? Ha ha ha!
Hiro and Ichiro Oda.
Manga artists are funny.
Well, aside from that, it seems that a gladiator named Spartan.
This is Sparta!
Really? Well, I guess that reference has to end soon because that gladiator tried to pick a fight with Luffy, seeing as how he was so weak looking.
Lucy.
Lucy. And of course, Lucy, in his way,
just beats him to a pulp.
Yep, and that actually ends this chapter for today. And
which I think that's going to hurt him in the long run.
Okay. But now we actually have our special first chapter to Sakuran,
which is tentative since it's a one-shot.
And we actually start with a kid named Eika. I believe that's how you spell it. Eiko?
No, wait.
Eika.
Aika, I think.
Okay, and we see that he's complaining about spring weather and.
I think it's because he has like allergies. It comes around during the spring.
And it's
which you have to admit you really can't blame him. Because if someone has allergies that occurs in the spring, yeah, you would hate spring too.
Yeah, but he also seems to hate He also seems to hate the fact that because he's very antisocial and really hates how everybody is being so friendly during this time of year.
So he has a Mashiro syndrome.
Yep, but now he even has a third.
Where he'll be all emo in the beginning of the story, but then something will happen where he just won't be emo anymore.
Yep, it's that kind of story. But he has a third reason for being depressed on spring. That is because for 5 years he has been sucked away into a different dimension where he ends up
panels!
where he's taken to an alien ship
and does Star Wars lightsaber fights with it. Just out of nowhere.
Yep, a guy supposedly named Sakuran. That's the name that
I am your father. Shut up!
That joke's been dead. Actually seems to be doing a biological research on him and has constantly done this same one strike with the lightsaber thing for the last 5 years. And of course this is all due to the fact that that 5 years ago he actually introduced him to the ship and
it's Aita.
Aita.
Yeah,
my fault, ladies and gentlemen. It is Aita, E-I-T-A. Where it seems that this Sakuran has actually wanted to bring him back to his planet. However, it seems that he doesn't want to go and will only give him 5 chances to do so. And how is he going to do this? By guessing his name. Kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin thing.
And should we also mention that this Sakuran looks like the villain from Shaolin Showdown?
Yeah, Wuya reference.
Yay!
Well, aside from that, he's guessed most of the time and mostly guessed wrong. And, of course, most of them are with the names Spring Ura, Humphrey, Humford Stempfner, I guess.
Rumpelstiltskin?
And Hum, for some reason.
Mm.
And, of course, this is his 5th and final chance to do that, and after being talked about by all of his social interactions with people, he then finally goes back to an old memory of him and his childhood friend, who had disappeared off a mountain after she wanted to look at some stars, where he decided that he would get in trouble if he went out too late at night.
And that she was also his first love, but when he looks into the ceiling, he finds the exact same star shape of the pendant that he got from her. Thus, he goes, "Oh, doy!"
No, I don't think he goes oh doy. I just think he finds that he's responsible for it. He's guilting himself into it, and that he doesn't really feels like when he's antisocial, he deserves to be antisocial. But in fact,
Because underneath that, which is actually a costume, underneath is a girl in a bikini.
and it's a
I hate
really
you so much.
no, I like this artist. Continue what you're doing. And of course, it actually seems to be his childhood friend, who was actually an alien. She just didn't disappear, she just went back to her planet for a while.
Oh, of course, it's always an alien.
But it seemed that it was probably hallucination.
Throw water at it, see if it's her weakness.
Ha 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 ha. Burn, you wicked witch. But of course, we see that he's back in school, and it actually wasn't a dream. She actually appears as the new student in the school, and like most
Which is very typical in anime. And to be okay between Fonzie and I, we both admit this is really tiring.
Yep, it's kind of been overused, but it
Because the plot demands it.
well, it gives people a reason to gawk over her, and a reason for him to be completely shocked. And now
I think my wiener's grown.
Yep, we're gonna have to flag this video for sure. F words and wieners. Anyways, we end off on that, and then we get to the next chapter of Toriko. Give this one to me, hero.
And so far, how the manga's gone, I think it has stopped making me hungry anymore. I'm not hungry anymore after reading this.
Well, that's because it's mostly battle-based, and last we left off, Tega was fighting against one of the chefs of the Bishiokukai. And of course, this guy is somewhat weird because after taking
he looks like a centaur zombie.
well, that'll actually be explained later on, but he's taken so many hits from lightning bolts, you'd think this guy'd be dead now.
But like a zombie, they just won't quit.
Yep, seriously. Even trying to get near him is near impossible. However, it seems that even Tegu, who's a master at using lightning and pretty much considers himself to be that of the electric eel around the gourmet world, he really does.
Which these eels have like devil horns on their noses.
Just expect them to look like something out of a horror story, but still he keeps using all of these techniques. However, this guy doesn't seem to be giving up either. And
he just draws the like just the creepiest imageries.
well, that's good to know because, in fact, there is a reason for him being as creepy as he is, because he's actually.
I have a feeling his style. I think he's inspired by Fist of the North Star because once you just look at it, you can just see the reference to like Fist of the North Star. You know, like the anatomy and everything. How the faces are drawn. It's just very Fist of the North Star looking.
Well, as we find out, the centaur man's name is Elg, and he seems to be
Elg.
He seems to be the oldest chef of the Bishiokukai. Why is this? It's because that he hunted an ancient beast called the immortal horse, which in fact that he hunted it and then biologically stitched his torso to its
Why?
well, because it seems that the mythical horse's body is actually immortal. So by cutting it off and surgically re-implementing himself onto it, he is actually now immortal. Basically a biological nightmare. And of course, Tegu gets more interested into this fight and uses a new technique called
Lightning knife.
And literally tries
Lightning blade.
Nope, we're not doing that Chidori mess here. Nope, because this one actually disintegrates him. However,
immortal my ass, but then he regenerates.
He regenerates due to the idea that you only need is one cell. Kind of like that whole Namekian regeneration thing. As long as the brain is intact.
And same thing with the whole cell thing, which he got from Namekian DNA.
Yep, but this one has a catch. Because every cell has a tiny membrane in there. That means that many more can be grown from every single cell. So now Tegu is surrounded by several elves.
Okay, how can you beat that?
Well, We're not actually going to find that out because Elg actually gets the better hand of Tegu and uses a powerful attack that literally lands quite a crushing blow onto his stomach. And we end the chapter with that.
But how is he going to eat his food without his stomach?
But we have Naruto to get back to.
And so we get back to where we were in the last chapter, where Madara is like, he's like really injured. He can't move anymore.
And he's been given an ultimatum to Hiroshima to either kill himself or kill his brother.
And so he actually does decide to kill himself, but Madara stops him, saying, "You know what? I like your guts." So this was Madara's way of testing him, in which he passed, and thus
the alliance between the Senju and the
Uchiha is formed, and lo and behold, Konoha is born. And you're probably wondering, well, how did they come up with the name the village in a hidden leaf?
Well, that's also explained since Hiroshima and Madara are up on the same cliff that they used to climb when they were kids, and are talking about the future leadership of the village.
And it was actually Hiroshima who came up with the idea of putting the faces of their current leaders on that cliff. Sort of like the what was it called, that monument? My brain's kind of dead.
Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, kind of like a Mount Rushmore kind of thing.
Yeah, but this one's with ninjas, not presidents.
Well, Madara came up with the name of the hidden leaf because he actually has a leaf with a hole in it.
And because they've been surrounded by trees for so long.
The trees!
Yep, but in a shocking development, it seems that Hiroshima wanted to actually make Madara the first Hokage.
But Madara is like, why?
Well, that's because Madara has a deep loathing for it and still is an untrusted individual among some. Especially Hiroshima's younger brother.
Who just doesn't like him.
Well, it's not that he just doesn't like him. Toriyama grew up knowing that basically the ninja way was of his old father's way, and that was always to the benefit of the village.
By the way, just when you look at Hiroshima's younger brother, doesn't he kind of look like a Minato?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's because of the hair.
Well, yeah.
But
it's not very creative hairstyles, ladies and gentlemen. There's not much emphasis on them.
Yeah, but the younger brother keeps saying, "No, we can't trust him. He's too full of hatred."
And he would unfortunately be right. And of course, the Hokage is chosen, and this time it's actually Hiroshima. And of course, Hiroshima goes as the Hokage to see Madara and asks why he did not deny the claim. And Madara speaks to him about a stone tablet that makes him understand how the Uchiha work. However, this confuses Hiroshima, and only through more exposition does Madara actually tell Hiroshima that conflict will never end.
And he also tried to sort of like get an exodus for the Uchihas, but the rest of his family, decided to stay behind, and I guess that's when his hatred starts to grow.
And eventually, this leads to the final part of our chapter, whereas Madara Uchiha has decided to make his name legendary as the only man to fight the Hokage Hiroshima in a blood battle as what he would dream.
Didn't they already try that?
Yep, but this time this one's going to be bigger.
To the death. There can only be one!
And away from all that death is a segue back to the...
Chapter 68, Could It Be? And it actually starts where we left off in the last chapter, still on Valentine's Day, where Michiho... No.
Ichijo is still looking for the girl that he has a crush on.
Moradina, which I do not like that name. I really don't, because it's way too hard to say. But but Chitoge finds her. And they have their little girl talk. And talk about the guys they like, and Chitoge's bodyguard is like surrounded by guns, trying to kill the pervy friend for for tricking her.
Yep, but that because that's normal in Japan to see in your student hallways. Is that when you're walking aimlessly through the hallways, you're gonna see your best friend running like a gazelle away from a gun-toting crazy bitch who's after blood.
But but she gets stopped, and I guess they talk about giving chocolates. I don't know. It's kind of a weird scene, but
basically she's been tricked to think that giving chocolate to somebody you hate is something normal on Valentine's Day. But of course, his best friend actually drops the
and then she finds out that that's not how it works, and
yep, you give chocolate to people you like.
and thus the reason why she's trying to kill him, but in a comedic fashion.
Yeah, but of course she actually gives him another piece of chocolate in sign that she actually...
Oh my gosh, chocolate! Chocolate! Yes, I'm doing the SpongeBob reference. Chocolate? Did you say chocolate?
I'd like to buy all your chocolate.
Yes, plain or with or without nuts. Chocolate! 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 So yeah, he's really happy, and this reminds him of that crazy girl
who has the chocolate statue.
And guess what? It broke. Yay!
Yeah, but it's kind of sad because she actually worked hard on it, and of course Ichijo, being the good guy he is, decides to actually eat it still.
I think he's gonna get sick from all that chocolate. But who cares? It's chocolate!
And of course he compliments how he enjoys actually getting chocolate. And, of course, makes the girl who is usually about as bubbly as you can get in her mind, being that of a squirrel's.
And the thing, she's supposed to be the sick one. The one that's weak and always has to, can't push herself. But she's kind of pushing herself a lot. Consistency. You suck at it.
Yep. Well, anyways, we go back to the best friend who is once again annoying.
And he actually gets chocolates from different girls. And they're like, what? How does that happen?
I guess it does happen. But then we get back to Oradina and Chitoge.
They basically just have their girl talking, like, oh, who do you like? Who do you like? And she actually shares her chocolates, and she really likes the chocolate. And the thing... And now...
The conversation seems to get to its climax, where Oradina literally asks out of nowhere to Chitoge,
who do you like? Which
she even asks, is it Ichijo?
Which I guess is... I guess this is kind of a big deal, more than we think, because everybody knows that they're quote unquote dating, but for her to ask that, it's basically her saying, do you really like him, or is this all just for show? Which kind of begs the question: what does she know? Dumb. No, like that cruise scene. Dum dum dum.
That doesn't deserve a dum dum dum. We all know what happens. Now back to World Trigger, and it's getting more exciting with the bombarding neighbor. And of course,
just like back in 1945.
Yep, just like 1945. Shut up. Where Ai has actually decided to take on the neighbor by herself. Literally by herself. And we get a beautiful cityscape of a giant fish-like creature destroying Japan.
And the destruction is just so beautiful and artistic.
Japan, vacation here. And of course...
Do you like massive destruction by monsters? They come here to Japan, where we get neighbors, Godzillas, giant monsters.
But don't worry, Ultraman will be here to save us. Back to the story. Osamu then decides to also take charge and actually in a way, goes to the responsible route. And even though that he doesn't have enough Tryon to activate his trigger, he actually goes to help people just like a true border agent would. This, of
Our
course,
hero!
but he also asks Yuma to stay near Ai and actually help her out if she needs it. Of course, he's weirded out by this because he didn't actually know Osamu was such a responsible person. So he decides to go, but uses his replica in order to create another smaller replica to help Osamu out.
It's Inception! A dream within a dream!
But then we get to Ai, who's planning a strategy to take out the bombarding neighbor. But as soon as we get that, we transition back to Osamu helping out a bunch of people who have been caved in by the debris from the falling neighbor. He then ends up helping people, but of course he doesn't have a whole lot of Tryon left. That's when Replica decides to give him some of Yuma's power, which is the double seal, which gives him strength. This way, Osamu is easily able to, I guess carry debris really well. It's kind of weird. I guess Tryon is used as a strength enhancer. However, we get back to Ai, who's running up some scaffolding, ready to jump onto the giant neighbor. And of course, using her quick wits, gets right onto it. However, it seems that the neighbor has some sort of antennae coming out of its back that
It's kind of
produces
weird.
explosions. However, she protects herself by using a type of shield and eventually slashes all of the tentacles away. Thank God, we thought we were going to go with a stereotype with that one. But no, she then finds a weak point in the neighbor and then starts bombarding it with bullets. Hopefully this was going to stop the neighbor. However, the neighbor, in its weird design, actually has a mouth in 3 circles, 2 smaller ones, and a bigger one in the middle, and actually closes that mouth.
It has the Rinnegan.
And when it closes, it seemed to have activated something else on its back, which looked like a bunch of generators. Yep, this is a thing, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Ai is not prepared for this, but Yuma decides to ready up and decides to go into battle.
I'm feeling he's gonna be exposed.
I think so too, which is going to add for some great drama. Surprisingly, actually good drama.
Drama. Oh my gosh, the drama.
Yep, but we have less drama to get back to, and back to Bleach. Oh wait, that's all drama right now. We get back to the battle where the Black Hollow is facing off.
Black hole! A white Shinigami! Yeah, that don't feel so good, don't it?
Where he's fighting off against Isin Kurosaki. And of course, as we predicted, it does in fact look like the same hollow form that Ichigo goes into. However, it I guess just sporadically attacks everything around it, and well, that reference went out the door. Sorry about that. And of course, Aizen and the others are looking down at the battle.
Aizen.
Yep. And of course, but we then transition back to Ichigo's mother,
Who actually senses the hollow.
Yep. So she heads on out, but of course meets up with Uryu's father, Ryu, before she could actually make her escape.
Wait. That was her father? I thought that was her fiance, that she was forced into.
I said Uryu's father.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he even questions why she's going out to go and take care of meaningless hollows where the Shinigami can do that. Sort of like the higher class, they should only get involved when
Those
they
are
really
only
feel
for the needy.
Yep, but that's not Misaki's way.
And sort of being the stereotypical good-hearted girl, like, I must help people.
Well, that actually makes her a redeeming character. However, the battle seems to be getting even more dramatic as more of these slashes and bangs keep going on. Seriously, this is not exactly to.
How come I have this strange feeling that this is where she's gonna die?
She's not gonna die, dude. That's way after.
Grant Fisher.
Yeah. You guys remember that? Grant Fisher, back in book 3. Yeah, but even more Shinigami try and get involved within it. And it ends up badly because the Hollow obviously knows the Sero. Yep, pretty much blew that nameless Shinigami apart. And then we go back to Misaki, still making, like Hiro said before, how she still needs to help people regardless of being a pureblood Quincy. She wouldn't allow herself to do these kind of things.
Very well.
But of course, Ryu is also planning on getting into the field himself, but only in shadow. However, Isun decides to take off the gloves and activate his Shikai, known as Engetsu. Okay, this probably proves the fact that this is probably Zangetsu is probably Ichigo's spirit soul. Because this is a completely different name from Zangetsu, and it has a completely different name command to it. However, even before he can use his fantastic fiery sword, Aizen comes in to cut him in the back. It really happens.
Aizen, we will kill you.
Yep, and then we get to Dragon Ball Z, more action. Flip, Gohan! Gohan, go!
Gohan, use headbutt. It's super effective.
And of course, we get the Monkencepal Special Beam Cannon.
And now we get to One Punch Man.
Yep, that one was quick. Dragon Ball Z abridged. Please subscribe.
4 stars.
And so we get to
where Carnage Kabuto has done quite a lot of damage to Genos, and Saitama is about to reveal how he got his power.
And we actually get his real color scheme. His cape is red, okay, obviously, but his shirt is green.
Green? It's actually an orange.
Oh, that's right. I'm colorblind.
You're only so colorblind. This guy's an artist. Give him some credit. And literally, basically the first few pages are just a bunch of dramatic build-up. And then we get this.
100 punch-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats.
And run 10 kilometers every day.
That's impossible.
And we go back to a transition
where he used to have hair.
Yep, but because of all his training, it literally made him lose all his hair.
And is that even accurate? Can you really go bald after all that training?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I guess he just wanted him to be bald. I guess like, he has his hair is too common. I'll make him bald.
Yep, but I guess that's the comedic style. When you think of a superhero, you probably think of them have pretty interesting looking hairstyle, but no, let's go Vin Diesel this time.
Except for the Batman. The goddamn Batman.
And we see that the scientist, Carnage Kabuto, and even Genos are having a hard time believing this. But mostly Genos.
Master, you are full of crap!
Seriously, this guy was like the loyal subject to him for such a while, and now he's literally questioning his strength. But even Saitama continuously says that that's really just it. And Carnage Kabuto takes this the way that Genos did.
It's pretty scary when you look at it. Like, veins all over him. We thought Cell was creepy.
Yep, and he goes into a full-on carnage mode. Shout out to Marvel Comics.
Take that, Marvel. Okay, try to get this Carnage against Marvel's Carnage.
I'd like to see that battle.
Make it happen.
And of course he rants and raves about how he says that his way of getting stronger is stupid. And Saitama gets a face full of fist and is being beaten and bludgeoned
I was explaining how I got my powers, and then I took a fist to the face.
Just stop. Just stop.
I'm full of references today.
Which is why I would like this battle to stop. And in Saitama, in his usual fashion,
his face is so silly.
Forgets that actually a battle is happening and tries to remember what day it is.
He just looks so bored with that face. Like,
Yep, and practically rips off Carnage Kabuto's upper body, leaving nothing but blood and guts.
Yay! And the scientist is like, Oh, fuck.
I'm going to go and change myself. I'm done here. Which actually, and in Saitama's fashion, misses I guess, a deal day at a certain shop. Yep, that's all he cared about. He cared about what day it was. Uh-oh, I missed the bargain.
Oh my gosh, you just missed the bargain. Oh.
Well, that seems to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen.
Next week, Blue Exorcist is back again. Mephisto!
Yep. Yeah, Mephisto. Oh, you dress just like an Alice in Wonderland wet dream. Anyways, that's it for the weekly Shonen Jump review. Now it's time on for Fairy Tales review.
Oh wait, we need this first. Yay, Fairy Tale theme song! Because it's just so awesome. Stop dancing.
But it's awesome enough to dance to.
It's fast. It's awesome. It's Celtic. Okay, we had enough of that. And for the cover of our chapter is Miss Lucy looking all sexamundo.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit away from you from that one.
Oh.
Yep. Hey there,
and some fan arts, which some of them are pretty good.
But today is now finally July 7th in the world of Fairy Tail.
And this is when the dragons should come, which I have a feeling they're not going to come.
Well, that's all.
No one's getting ready like, this is it, the eclipse.
Yep.
And the door is opening, and something possesses Lucy.
But we get back to the fight between him and the future rogue.
And Natsu.
And of course he still plans to kill Lucy, and if Natsu continues to get in his way, we'll kill you.
Either way, I'll kill you.
Yeah, seriously, this guy is really bad. And is actually seeming to get the upper hand of Natsu now.
For now.
Yeah, you say that for now with good intention.
But that's when he uses Lightning Flame Dragon Mode!
Yep, and of course this would be the power that would finish off an enemy with no problem. This, however, is not to be underestimated because it seems that Rogue from the future has a trump card
called White Shadow Dragon Mode. Where, okay, here's what happened. Okay, Rogue killed Sting and took his white dragon powers.
Yep, killed his friend and took his powers. And with that power...
And Natsu took a really bad gash. Ow. On his side. Ooh, that's bad.
Yep, and it seems that he's using literally the Dragon Force ability of 2 dragons. How do you do that?
Well, wasn't Natsu able to do it with the lightning dragon?
He doesn't know how to control Dragon Force yet. That's the difference. He doesn't know how to control that ability where it doubles his power.
And then Rogue uses White Shadow Dragon's Coarse Silk,
which is a bunch of needles and strikes heading...
I never saw that before. Rurouni Kenshin. Yeah, I never saw this before.
Well, I'm not familiar with Rurouni Kenshin. I only watch good.
Well, it seems like strain and thread are very common in manga battles.
Well, it's a different type, and of course, Rogue goes into more exposition about how he'll still kill Lucy and all this other stuff because of something.
And Rogue says, "You were always a heartless son of a bitch." Oh, of course, and this heartless son of a bitch is going to take your life as well. So he finally admits it.
But as he is about to try and finish off Natsu with a, I guess, combined dragon roar, so several orbs appear throughout him. And it's actually the flash forward ability used by Ursa. Yeah, I say Ursa, not Urza.
Yeah, and for those who are confused, no, this is not the Ursa from Avatar. No,
that was last week. And it's actually the crew of Jalal's who's actually come to help Natsu out.
And the thing is, his injuries are are worse than they imagined, and he's being sucked in by the darkness. He's being sucked in by the shadows.
Yep, but then we finally transition back to the Eclipse Gate, and it seems like everything is about to go well, except
Lucy decides to close the gate, and by looking in her eyes, she's being possessed. Which, like we predicted before, we think it's
Zara.
Yeah, we think it's Zareth that has possessed her in order to close the gate.
Actually, I think that this is something completely different. I think the people who control Jalal and Rogue are Zareth. But as for what's controlling Lucy, I think this is somebody actually different. So what we'll soon seem to find out.
And on the last page, we get a gorgeous view of her tits.
Still gonna sit far away from you on that one. Anyways, that was it for that fairy tale chapter, and now it's time for us to say goodbye. This has been Hero,
no, I'm Hero.
Why can't I ever be the hero?
No, I'm always a hero. That's the rule.
Fine, this has been Fonzie and this Hero, and we're signing off.